Fortnite has been around for a little bit over 7 years, and there have been in total 22 live events. So every single video I'm going to cover live events for each chapter, give them a rating, and at the end I'm going to rank all 22 live events. Starting with chapter 1. Our first live event that we ever got was the rocket launch, which happened on June 30th, 2018. And this event at the time was special because live events in video games at that time were unheard of. This event happened in Fortnite Season 4, where a rocket launches into the sky, and after it's high enough, it drops in an even smaller rocket, which looks like it's about to hit Tilted. But then suddenly rifts on the edge of the map, and then flies around the map, and then rifts again, and then a rift spawns in the middle of the map, and then the rocket flies in the sky, creating a crack in the sky. This live event, compared to the other events we're going to talk about, is pretty mid. It's more of a mini live event, but it's a memorable event, so I'm going to give it an 8. It's the first one that we've ever had, and it was pretty special for everyone. Next up, we have the Cube event in Season 5. This cube made its first appearance during the Summer Skirmish tournament on August 24th, 2018. Famous Fortnite player Ninja, back then, was playing in the Summer Skirmish when the ground started shaking suddenly. And when he turned around, purple lighting flashes from the sky, creates a purple cube that the Fortnite community quickly decides to refer to as Kevin.
What just happened?
As the season goes on, Kevin rolls around the map and eventually falls in a lake, making the lake purple and bouncy. This event is a solid 7, and don't get me wrong, it's a good event. It brought an iconic character into Fortnite, but at the end of the day, it's a mini event. If you want to rate something higher than a 7 or 8, it has to be a complete live event. Going into Season 6, we have the Butterfly event. This event took place on November 4th, 2018. The floating island splits in half, and the cube starts to spin faster and faster and faster. Then the cube explodes, and the screen goes white, and we're teleported to an alternate dimension. A ball of light starts to glow in the center, and then it turns into a butterfly. It flies around you for some time, and then you touch the butterfly, and you get teleported back to the original map. We don't really know what this means, but the visual presentation was nice, and I give this event a 5. Now we move on to probably the most forgettable event in Fortnite history, the Ice Storm event. This event took place on January 19, 2019. It starts with the Ice King, who's been gathering energy all season in an ice bubble, and he finally bursts out of it, creating a giant hologram of himself, and then does some awkward movements. Then he literally throws an ice storm onto the island like bro is not Patrick Mahomes, and then just disappears. This is the first time that the Fortnite community was disappointed in a live event. I'm going to bring this live event a 4. It's really forgettable, and it was also really short, but you can't admit him throwing the ice storm onto the island was really cool. Going into Season 8, we have the Unvaulting event. This event took place on May 4th, 2019. We had one shot to bring a vaulted item back into the game. It starts with the circular bunker opening, and then we can glide down into the underground. There were 6 things we could choose from: planes, bouncers, the grappler, tactical submachine gun, infinity blade, and the drum gun. Every noob went for the drum gun. After people made their choice, we levitated back to the surface, and the volcano shoots a bunch of fireballs which go straight for Tilted and destroy the POI. But I'm going to give this event a 1 because of what people chose, and they destroyed Tilted. This is all your fault. And so far, there have only been mini live events, until now, because Season 9 introduces us to the final showdown. This event took place on July 20th, 2019. For weeks, there is a robot known as Mecha Team Leader being built to fight the monster that escaped Polar Peak. The monster returns to the island and starts destroying it. Then from the volcano, the Mecha Team Leader rises, and it's time for the final showdown. First, the robot shoots some rockets and gets the monster weakened. Then he shoots some more rockets. The monster is getting bodied, but he's not going to let that slide. He charges up and shoots a green beam at the mech, which pushes it back a few inches. But the mech gets up, runs at the monster, and then he tackles the monster into the sea. Then from the water, the mech rises up and lands on the map, and we think the mech won. The monster is not finished. He long jumps from the water and onto the mech, and it's biting on it. And the mech manages to get the monster off her back, but it bit his arm off. The mech goes to the center of the map and falls down. The monster won, right? The mech rises up again and it punches its hand into the circular bunker of Loot Lake and pulls out the 0 point and starts to harness the energy. The monster knows that if he lets that mech get that much power, he doesn't have a chance. So he tries to jump on the mech from the back, but the mech turns around at the last second and punches him Will Smith style, and the monster goes flying. But the monster is not dead yet. The mech can't defeat the monster by itself, but what if it had help? Like a weapon. It starts walking to the center of Mega City. It's looking for a statue, and once he finds it, he pulls the statue and a sword comes out of the ground. They charge up one final time and lunge at each other, and then the mech uses the sword to stab the monster through the eye and pins him to the ground. Then the monster starts desiccating and the mech starts to blast. Then it looks at the map one final time, salutes, and disappears into the sky, and that's the last we will ever hear of him. Or will we? This event is a 9.5 out of 10 because it was so action-packed, the climax was insane, the visuals were clean, and that event was a chef's kiss. But there is an event that's even better. Now, the final event of Chapter 1, the Black Hole. This event took place on October 3rd, 2019. The event was supposed to be somewhat similar to Chapter 1 Season 4 because we went back to Season 4 for Season X. It starts off by the rocket launching, and once it hits the sky, it creates a massive rift, and then creates even smaller rifts with rockets spawning out of the rifts. They start flying around the map, and they form a line and go into one rift. And the rift appears behind the meteor. It starts to spit out all the rockets that it took in, and the rockets land in front of the meteor, creating a giant rift. The meteor moves again and goes straight into the rift. The second rocket spawns in the sky, shooting out 4 lasers that come into one, and the rocket lands where the rift was. The rocket explodes, creating a force field around the 0 point, and players are pushed off the map. For the final time, the biggest rift spawns in the sky, sending the meteor straight down to the force field, protecting the 0 point. If you were there, you know the music as the meteor was falling down, the emotion. You can't recreate something like that ever again. The meteor falls on the force field. The force field tries to repel the meteor but fails. This creates a giant black hole and it starts sucking in everything. The Fortnite map, the battle bus, everything. Then it's just silence. And after 36 hours, we move on into Fortnite Chapter 2. But those 2 days of no Fortnite was so worth it because it cost for so many funny clips with kids breaking their TVs and consoles. Next video, we're going to cover Chapter 2 live events. Thank you so much for watching.